Dear audience, some moments on television pass by unnoticed. Others stay with us, not because they were loud, but because they were real. What unfolded on live television that day was not planned, rehearsed, or scripted. It was a reminder of what happens when honesty meets assumption, and experience meets generalization. At first, everything felt ordinary. The lights were bright, the cameras were steady, the audience was relaxed. A familiar talk show atmosphere, casual conversation, polite smiles, and expected answers. Kate Winslet entered the stage with quiet confidence. She carried herself not as someone seeking approval, but as someone who had earned her place through decades of work, discipline, and resilience. She wasn't there to argue. She wasn't there to impress. She was there to speak, truthfully. As the discussion began, the focus remained on her career, her latest project, and the journey that had shaped her as an artist. The questions were standard, almost predictable. But beneath the surface, something was building. A comment was made, a broad statement, casually delivered, yet heavy with implication. It suggested that ego defines success. That fame naturally distances people from humility. That an entire industry can be summarized with a single assumption. The room didn't react immediately. Sometimes silence arrives before clarity. Kate paused, not because she was confused, but because she was choosing her words carefully. In that moment, she wasn't just responding as an actress. She was responding as a professional, as a human being, and as someone who understood the weight of words spoken on a public platform. She did not raise her voice. She did not dismiss the question. She responded with intention. She explained that success is often misunderstood from the outside. That what appears glamorous is usually built on long hours, rejection, self-doubt, and relentless effort. According to her, ego is not what keeps people going, purpose is. She spoke about collaboration. She spoke about respect. She spoke about the responsibility that comes with influence. And slowly, the tone in the room changed. This was no longer a surface-level conversation. It had become something deeper, something uncomfortable for those who prefer simple labels over complex truths. Kate emphasized that disagreement does not require disrespect. That questioning narratives is not an act of defiance, but an act of growth. She reminded everyone that individuals should be judged by actions, not stereotypes. Her words were calm, yet firm. Measured, yet powerful. It became clear that this wasn't about winning a debate. It was about correcting a narrative. Live television has a way of revealing authenticity. There are no edits, no retakes, no filters. In those moments, people either retreat into defensiveness or rise into clarity. Kate chose clarity. She acknowledged that no industry is perfect. That mistakes exist everywhere. But she refused to accept the idea that ego defines everyone who succeeds. The audience listened, not because they were told to, but because they felt the weight of her experience. For a brief moment, the room felt still. And in that stillness, something important happened. The conversation shifted from entertainment to reflection. Kate spoke about how easy it is to criticize from a distance. How narratives are formed without understanding the full picture. She urged viewers to question assumptions, not angrily, but thoughtfully. Her message wasn't defensive. It was grounded. She wasn't asking for praise. She wasn't demanding agreement. She was asking for fairness. Moments like these are rare on television. Not because disagreement is uncommon, but because honesty often is. As the segment continued, it became evident that this exchange would not be forgotten quickly. It resonated because it touched on something universal, the desire to be seen as more than a label. By the time the conversation reached its conclusion, the atmosphere had transformed. What started as a casual discussion ended as a moment of self-examination, for everyone watching. And perhaps that is the true power of live dialogue. It forces us to confront ideas we casually accept. It challenges comfort. It invites growth. Kate didn't walk away victorious in the traditional sense. There was no dramatic ending, no raised voices, no abrupt exits. What she left behind was something far more impactful: perspective. A reminder that confidence does not need to be aggressive. That strength can exist in calmness. That truth does not need to shout to be heard. As the cameras faded and the show moved on, one thing remained clear. Some conversations matter long after the screen goes dark.